Slab leak repair, what options do you have? If you've got a slab leak and hopefully you're getting it repaired, you've actually got some options, but there's certain things that you need to know. What choices should you have? And hang around to the end and I'm gonna tell you how maybe you could get most of this paid for by your insurance company. So slab leak repairs, if you've got a leak under your slab, whether it be on the water line or on the sewer line, you've actually got options as to what repairs can be done, should be done, or how they could be done. So everything starts off with the sewer water test. Now, a lot of people call it a hydrostatic test, but it's really not a hydrostatic test because you're not applying any external pressure. Meaning, to do a sewer test, you actually put a test ball down in the two-way cleanouts to where you can make sure no water's leaking past it, and then you fill it up to the slab level. At that point, all you're doing is waiting to see, does that water level drop? If it does, you've got a leak. If it doesn't, you don't. Some plumbers actually just use cameras to do a sewer test. It's not accurate. I mean, if you put a sewer camera down in the sewer and you don't see any cracks, that doesn't mean they're not there. It just means you're not seeing them. The only way to accurately test a sewer is to fill it up with water and see if it holds. That is what it's designed to do. Now, the water test. Some people call this a hydrostatic test. Guys, get off that word. It is just a water test. You're not applying any external pressure. You are just checking to see, is there any leaks on it? The way that we do it, we actually put a gauge on the hose bib or on the washing machine hose bib, and we turn the water off. Turn it off at the meter. Now watch that gauge. Whatever it was at is what it should stay at. Now, you may have to turn your water heater to vacation, do different things to keep from applying external pressure, but if it holds for 15 minutes, does not drop pressure, does not raise in pressure, you're good. There are no leaks under there. That's what it starts with. If you do have a leak on the water, now you're gonna need to isolate it, but we'll talk more about those repairs and isolation in a little bit. If you have a leak on a sewer, there's different ways to find it. You might try the camera, putting it in every vent, see if you can see anything. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. If it's a big break, you might be able to. One thing we always do is put a test ball in and check the two-way cleanouts first. A lot of times right there at the front edge of the house, that could be where a break is. And you've got these two risers that could have been bumped, hit, moved, shifted over the years. A lot of times we find the leaks at the two-way cleanout. After that, you've got to go to sewer isolation. Now, this is something that some companies, I know us, Texas Green Plumbing, we specialize in slab leaks and leak detection. So sewer isolation is a big deal. A good plumber can actually take a test ball up, turn it up horizontal lines, air it up and isolate them. That way you can test sections of the house. Now, this is something that takes skill. It takes time to learn, and it takes having all the right tools and materials in order to do it. This is something that is a specialization. You're probably gonna pay more for it, but you're not just gonna replace everything under the house if you don't have to. A good plumber can come in and say, look, you have a leak right here. And then he can give you options to fix it. Water is a little bit different. You come in with the best electronic equipment, you isolate, find out if it's on the yard side, the house side, the hot side, the cold side. Once you figure it out, you locate the lines, induce air into the system, listen above it, and you can tell where it is. Now, guys, isolation, it's not an exact science. You can miss things because of beams, because of the way sound moves underneath. But to be honest, most of the time, a good plumber with the right equipment can get really, really close. Now, what options do you have on the repairs? Well, on a sewer line, you have two options. Either you make a hole in the house and you tunnel down to it, or you tunnel from outside and never make a hole inside the house. Now, different options would depend on how far from an outer edge is it? What room is it in? What's the floor like? What can we do to not make a mess? And what I mean by that is if you've got a sewer leak under your house and you make a hole in the middle of your living room floor, all this dirt that is now full of raw sewage or been soaked in raw sewage for years is going to be piled up right there in your living room. Is that really what you want? We've actually had some people say, yes, we don't want to tunnel, we want to do it this way. And the flies were so bad in the house, they're like, man, we really should have never done this. Well, we tried to talk them out of it. So there's your other choice, tunnel from outside. mark your leak on the inside, measure everything outside, mark your hole, make an access hole, and then tunnel over to it. Now, when we do this, we bring in engineers, structural engineers, to do a report on the house based on our tunnel. If our tunnel was dug properly and we backfill it properly, the homeowner should never have a problem. This is a good choice and a great option, and it's least intrusive to the homeowner. Now for a water line. What do you do there? Well, for the water line, you actually have 3 options. Like we talked about on the sewer line, you can actually locate the leak and make an access hole and tunnel from the outside. Or if you know exactly where it is, you can actually make a hole on the inside, go in, find your lines, dig over to it, whatever it's got to do, make your repair there. But if you've got a water line, you have a 3rd option. This will be the option of a reroute. Now, those of y'all that have watched my videos, you've heard me talk about this before, but say you have a manifold over here and a manifold over here, and this is where it's making your noise. You locate, you find out where the leak is, or you know that line is the one it's on. Now you open up the walls and you do a reroute overhead. Now, you pretty much have to have an attic above it. You don't want to just knock out a ton of sheetrock and repipe everything, but we have done that for people that did not want to make holes. Then your other 2 choices, the hole and the tunnel. Look, it's really up to you. All I want to do is make you aware of what options you have. Now, here's another big deal, and I told you if you hung around, I would give you some information. Some of these repairs are covered by insurance. You need to check your insurance policy. If you need a slab leak repair, some insurance policies cover stuff like that, some don't. But you need to know what questions they may ask, how they may ask them, and what is the proper answer. Now, the reason I say the proper answer, I'm not wanting you to fib to anybody, but you need to understand what they're looking for. That way you don't say the wrong thing and maybe not get covered when it should be. I just want to make sure that you know some plumbers speak insurance very well, some plumbers don't. Make sure the plumbing company you talk to specializes in slab leaks and leak detection. That way they know how to communicate to the insurance company properly. Now, if you're a plumber and you do these repairs, leave me a comment down below and let me know what is your favorite. On a sewer line, would you prefer to make a hole in the house and repair it there, or tunnel underneath? Now, some places around the country, they actually cut the slab inside the house and replace everything like that. Now, we try not to do that. Our dirt is tight enough that we can literally tunnel underneath and we don't have to just tear up the entire house. That's why I like tunneling myself. Now, on water, it really depends on where it is. If it's close to the center of the house and I've got a spot in the house where I can make a hole in the floor and get in there to it and make the repair fairly easy, that's a great choice. But if maybe they have someone elderly that is health conscious and they don't want that bad air in there, don't put dirt inside the house if you don't have to. That's where tunneling may be good. And if you can talk to the insurance company, depending on what your policy is and what you're covered for, some of these things may be covered. But getting in, doing the right thing for your customer, if you're a plumber, is the most important thing you can do. Now, if you're a homeowner and you've had to deal with a slab leak repair, do me a favor and leave me a comment down below and let me know, was it covered by your insurance company? And was your plumber able to actually help you get money from your insurance? I hope you enjoyed this, and look, I hope you've never had a slab leak or needed a slab leak repair. These are the most expensive plumbing jobs that there are, and it's one that we really do feel bad about our customers when they get them. But I will tell you this, there's a lot of plumbers and plumbing companies out there doing tests, doing locations, and they're off, they're wrong. Make sure that you are dealing with a company that really does understand slab leaks and leak detection to make sure you're protected properly. I hope that this video helped you and taught you something about slab leaks and slab leak repair. It's not anything anybody ever really wants to have to do, but when you do it, understand you have options. I'm Roger Wakefield, Lead AP, the expert plumber. I'll see you in the next video if you don't get flushed.